Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to a Misty Sparkles reaction. Man, it's been a while since I've watched one of her videos, and mainly because she's put out a new Gaster video. So basically, every video of hers that I've watched has something to do with Gaster, and I know she's actually put out a fair number of videos about other topics, and I keep meaning to watch them, but I forget, I'm sorry. The first one I watched was who Dr. Gaster is and why that matters to Deltarune. Then the next one was Why Gaster Matters in Deltarune Part 2, and now we have Why Gaster Matters in Deltarune Part 3, which I'm actually kind of curious about, because, so the first video she made was all about just, people who, it was an informational video, basically telling people who Gaster was from the perspective of somebody who may have not been in the undertale and Deltarune fandoms, especially not somebody who was in the undertale fandom from the very beginning. Then the part 2 was basically just filling in some, mistakes and things that she missed in the first video. I am genuinely curious what the part 3 is going to be about, because, in, chapters 3 and 4 of Deltarune? There wasn't that much. We quote-unquote learned the name of the guy behind the tree. He was the Forgotten Man. Or just the man, if you choose not to forget him. And we learned a bit of his schedule, which may or may not hint at the future locations where you find him to get eggs in future chapters. But other than that, we still haven't seen anything of him. He's always still just been the guy behind the tree, or the guy in the dark. Very mysterious. So I'm genuinely curious what this video is actually going to be about, because I wasn't aware if there was any more information to be talked about. So yeah, we should probably get this thing started. So of course, as always, original videos linked in the description. If you haven't seen it yet for some reason, corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. And if you like this video or any other video that I make, I'd very much appreciate it if you gave the video a like and subscribe to my channel, because almost 3/4 of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed to me, and I'd very much like that to change, because my main goal for this year is hopefully at 10,000 subscribers. Well yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
Alright, let's completely halt the 5 other videos I was working on and then never finish and do this. Did someone say Dr. Gaster? Yeah, let's turn up the fun levels and talk about what has essentially become my benign conspiracy theory. Maybe I should just be a sellout. This is a good time. So, I played and finished chapters 3 and 4 within 24 hours of its release when I bought it. I know Toby Fox said to take my time, but Toby isn't my friend and I'm under no obligation to listen to him. However, I have also played it about 10-ish more times since release, twice for work, because I now feel like I have to be the disciple of Dr. Gaster. I'll go over any new things we learned here and how all this new info has given me a bit of a different perspective. Alright, first up, I know tracking Gaster's leitmotif is nigh useless as any sort of proof of anything, as it is such a simple and easy theme, especially for horror or a creepy vibe. Like, Gaster's theme sounds like Lavender Town. It sounds...
Oh my god, I never noticed that before. Wait, that's just it. Maybe Gaster isn't a skeleton. Maybe Gaster's a dead Pokemon. A dead pocket monster. Ooh.
Sounds like the Twilight Zone theme. Gaster is Rod Serling confirmed. However, I'm like half sure it's playing in this song intentionally. You know, the scene where Ralsei talks about what happens when things get darker than dark.
Which, actually thinking about, I'm definitely going to wait, and I definitely need to see Andrew Cunningham. He needs to make an updated sequel video to his Gaster motif video to check, if all the music that we get in chapters 3 and 4.
You know, darker, yet darker, almost as if photon readings were
Negative.
Now that they said it outright like that, I'm pretty convinced that what Gaster was talking about in Entry 17 was absolutely a dark world. Did one somehow manifest in the undertale world? Was it a secret transmission from the Deltarune universe? Was it neither of those things and all just hidden foreshadowing with not a ton of further thought behind it? What do you two think? The further we get into the actual game, though, the more I think that maybe Gaster isn't quite as directly involved as I had hoped.
Oh.
Like, okay, Chapter 1 came out when I was like 23 and I was deep into Undertale and still had that stupid young adult energy. So of course I had on my rose-tinted glasses about my own fandom ideas and thought Gaster would totally be explained and everything was leading up to Gaster. And now, Chapter 3 and 4 are finally out, I have just turned 31, and I have more objective analytical skills, or at least I hope I do. And with all this new information presented to us, I'm kind of thinking that maybe it won't all culminate with Gaster.
Unfortunately.
Don't get me wrong, the man is still important. He looms over Deltarune in an undeniable way that I've already covered. All that stuff I said in my first video is still true. I was presenting things as they objectively appeared to us. The Deltarune website did have a message written in wingdings at some point, 2 of them even. He thinks we'll find this very, very interesting. Sham directly quotes him, "He's still here. His spirit lives within it." But I am getting the feeling that Gaster is perhaps not so much a participant, but rather an active observer. Now, the garbage noise makes me think he's a tad involved. It makes me think he was the one talking to Spampton, making me think he also drove Jevil crazy, but God fucking knows. One line from the King of Spades leads me to believe that it was, in fact, the knight who drove Jevil crazy. Perhaps someone different drove Spampton crazy then, or perhaps it wasn't Gaster at all. Perhaps it was the knight. Maybe the garbage noise isn't the sound of Gaster. Maybe it is actually the sound of the darkness itself. After all, darker yet darker negative photon readings is what Gaster was studying, and we know a dark world is in the shelter, which is emitting the Gaster noise.
I mean, I guess it's a little, impossible now, but I'm still secretly hoping for, that to be actually Gaster's lab, and like, again, the town, there's like the town, he owes the town like a lot of back taxes. But again, honestly, like, with how, like, at this point, like, I'm not entirely, even certain, like, Toby has been so tight-lipped about this. Like, the only time anything even remotely related to Gaster comes out is related to when Deltarune is releasing, when he takes over the Twitter account. So he has to mean something, because, like, I very much hope that, again, it's the whole idea that hopefully we get some form of answers about him. Because, again, like, it's been almost 10 years since Undertale came out. So, and I can totally believe that maybe in the beginning Gaster wasn't so important. Maybe he literally was just supposed to be like a spooky Easter egg that you'd find on like 1 in a 1 in 1,000 chance on a certain fun value. But at this point, like, we've seen, Toby is very much on the same wavelength as the community when it comes to memes and knowing about theories and stuff like that. With Gaster being such a major, like, icon of the fandom for so long, both Undertale and Deltarune, I have to believe that we'd eventually get some form of payout for it eventually. I have to.
The night is also associated with darkness being pure black and making an excessive number of fountains, though it is also possible that Gaster told Jevil about the night because Gaster seems to know lots of things. Perhaps either Gaster and the knight are collaborating, or the knight is of great interest to Gaster, who is likely the mysterious voice that speaks to us. If the mystery narrator is in fact Mr. Wingdings, he seems to be trying to get us to accomplish something. He wants his Deltarune, whatever that may mean, and that seems to have a a lot to do with the Knight, and perhaps the person who overrid Gaster's character creator sequence was the Knight, and the two are at odds, as the person who has the most obvious involvement within the story is the Knight. Only alluded to before, now we've actually met them and have seen how truly in control they are.
Again, I've talked about it a couple of times. My current ongoing theory, and I'm sticking with this until I see a proof otherwise, is that, you know, the Knight and who's ever working with them, whether it be Carol, or if the Knight is Carol or Chris, you know, whatever the thing is. My current theory with them is that they're trying to, like, get their own means or their own goals, like, fulfilled by the prophecy, by basically bending the prophecy enough so that it doesn't break, and so it's enough that the prophecy kind of carries them along without, you know, it breaking and kind of shoving them aside. If, you know, the whole thing with Rousey saying that the prophecy is unstoppable. But just whatever those goals are, just, we have no idea.
The Knight has some goal that we don't know about, but they are a malicious figure, as we found out, and it is also not Chris, like I thought, but rather Chris seems to be working for them, which I find much more interesting. Very, very interesting, if you will. Right now, I'm thinking the Knight is December Holiday, and from what I've seen, that seems to be generally what a lot of others are thinking too. Des did go missing, and we don't know what happened to her or where she could be. The antlers are an obvious sign, and the way they can travel into the light world. When the Knight first pulls their sword, it looks like a baseball bat, like the wiffle bat that Des used to bop Chris with. Maybe—
God, what was their saying? God, wait, I didn't save it on Twitter. Drat. I saw this, yesterday. I saw this, like, animation somebody had done on Twitter, where it was, like, Chris and Susie in the light world coming across Des, but it's, like, she's all, like, gray and disheveled. Like, it almost looks like she's just, like, a walking corpse, basically. And, like, with hair covering her face, with only her mouth visible. And then she opens her mouth, like, unnaturally wide, and you see the white light of, like, the Knight's visor inside before Chris and Susie kind of, like, falter and begin running away. Like, Again, the theory that, you know, the Knight is Des, but not all of Des, is still very strong.
Maybe those signs are so obvious that she's a red herring and is not actually the Knight. It might also be Carol, seeing as the person who is presumably the Knight talking to Chris on the phone said they'll be there soon, and moments later, Carol comes home early. She owns a katana as well, so yeah, literally has a sword. Maybe that's even too obvious. Maybe they're both the Knight. Let's go with Des for now, though. Perhaps—
No, what we know, we don't know what happened to Des, because what actually happened is that to create the Knight, you need to fuse Carol and the remains of Des into one being, and what you get is the Knight. Ugh, God, that's, more I think about it, that's really weird.
perhaps she is kidnapping those who she feels failed her in some way. The police, the Dreamers for undisclosed reasons. It seems Asgore might have done something, but we don't know what that is just yet. The code for the bunker is inside her guitar, for God's sakes. Perhaps she entered the bunker on a dare, or out of curiosity or something, and whatever was inside corrupted her, and that's why she's asking for Chris's help. Perhaps that thing that maybe corrupted her was Gaster. After all, the Knight is a shadow crystal holder, and the crystal holders, so far, have all been people who have been driven mad by possibly Gaster.
Yeah.
But again, Gerson is also a shadow crystal holder and has no ill effects on him. He says he didn't use it. I love the idea of Gaster going up to the ghost turtle and saying, hey, here's a crystal that'll almost definitely ruin your life. And Gerson's like, joke's on you, I don't have one anymore. While we're here on—
I mean, actually thinking about it, what did Gerson mean by use it? Because obviously we get the other shadow crystals from defeating the secret bosses. But how do you use them, so to speak? Because evidently, seemingly using them is what causes you to go nuts, not just having them in your possession. Because, again, Gerson had it on him. He said he found it in his desk, but he didn't use it, whatever that means.
On the topic of the Knight, I have some serious questions and concerns about what Asgore was talking to himself about when he was cleaning Noelle's house. Hell, at this point, maybe Asgore's the Knight, actually. And
man, turning into the Knight is one major weight loss regime right there.
He's using Carol's shit. Oh my god, what if Asgore is the next bonus boss? That'll be so cool. I don't know what this conspiracy board in what I'm assuming is Carol and Rudy's bedroom is.
You never set out to make an I'm crazy wall, but, you know, They happen. It's an organic thing.
But Asgore sure is looking at it and sure is talking about what sounds like a shadow crystal or the black shard sword. Also, this is hands down, haha, the stupidest thing I'll ever note, and none of this was intentional, I'm sure, but
What?
a common fan depiction of Gaster is that he has holes in his hands due to the Mystery Man sprite kind of looking like he might.
Yeah?
Stigmata is what I think it's called. I don't care if I pronounced it right. It's the marks Jesus is depicted having on his hands due to crucifixion. And I'd like to point out that the knight also has holes or markings on their hands. I noticed that. I can't unnotice that. I made the connection because the 2016 Undertale fandom ruined my brain. It means nothing. I'm almost positive as the Mystery Man sprite probably just had his hands bald and they just look weird because Toby Fox probably drew this in one go and MS Paint at 2 in the morning. And we don't even know if the Mystery Man sprite is Gaster. It just probably is.
Oh, God, you know, if it turns out that the knight was Gaster all along, and the antlers on the helmet were just like a red herring this entire time. You know, I know there'd be some people, you know, happy that we finally get some depiction of Gaster, but I can I'm fairly certain a good portion of the fan base would literally just combust.
Another fun value event from Undertale makes a little cameo in Chapter 4.
The wrong number song,
If you interact
yeah.
with Noelle's phone while Birdley is still on the line, one of the options is to sing the wrong number song. I don't think that has anything to do with Gaster necessarily, but it was a fun value event, and a lot of fun value events secretly have to do with Gaster. I just thought it was cute. We can work it into the grand conspiracy for sure. Let's do it. Perhaps this is one of those things that was from Deltarune the whole time and snuck into Undertale, like Icy. So,
Yeah.
you know, maybe Gaster's orchestrating this, or maybe he's simply allowing us to see it. Being shattered across space and time has perhaps given him the opportunity to see all possible realities, and he's decided to share his findings with us. Perhaps he found this dimension and was intrigued with it since it resembled his own so much, and he knows that we know about the Undertale world, so he wanted to show us as well. Maybe he does have some larger goal here that he wants us to accomplish because he can't interact with the world directly. Or he can't anymore. Or something. I don't know.
I mean, shattered across all time and space, that might not leave you with very many opposable thumbs.
It's just a theory, and that means you can't criticize me. That's at least how people acted whenever I said Matt Pat's theories were stupid back in my regret-filled FNAF days. A theory I've concocted as of Chapter 4 is that while not directly involved, Gaster saw some dubious stuff going down in Deltarune and was like, hey, you know who I bet could solve this? That person that controlled Frisk into freeing the underground. So he called us up, using his middleman, the annoying dog, and was like, here, make a vessel to control so you don't have to turn any children into puppets.
I mean, you say that. How do we know Gaster isn't the middleman for Toby in this respect? I mean, Toby literally made the game.
I know Frisk was generally cool with it, but a lot of people in this story are teens, and someone older might not be cool with it. Then someone, possibly the knight, possibly Chara being babysat by their dad's employee for all eternity, was like, actually, you have a new assignment. And then Chris woke up and was like, damn it, possibly Des, I did not sign off on this. Perhaps Gaster even tried to get some Darkners involved to help out with the situation, and that didn't go so well, and that's why Jevil and Spampton were driven entirely insane. But I could absolutely positively be completely wrong about all of this. So I feel Gaster must still be relevant to all of this, and would love if he one day showed up in any capacity and did literally anything.
You say that, and there's gonna be like the monkey's paw finger curling, where just at the end of the game, literally for 5 seconds, Gaster walks on the screen, asks like, hey guys, you want any coffee? And then walks off again. That's gonna be literally it.
However, I'm kind of losing faith. Unless I'm being completely thrown off here, of course, I am welcome to that possibility. I think he will probably keep talking to us from the shadows, which I like because it makes me feel like Dr. Gaster is my close personal friend. But I used to think that maybe he'll be the final boss, but that's probably not a realistic thing to hope for. However, even if everything I think about Gaster is true, will he actually be revealed to us, or will he remain only vaguely alluded to forever? I
really hope
completely
not.
unsure at this point what his direct role could be. I know I said Gaster is Rod Serling confirmed as a joke earlier, but honestly, that might be the closest comparison I can think of. This ominous disembodied voice comes to us at the beginning of the game and the end of chapter 4. It says some ominous things that don't make a ton of immediate sense, much like Rod Serling on the Twilight Zone, stepping out and explaining the basic plot in the most vaguely threatening way he possibly can. If the mystery voice is Gaster, which I think it is, he wants his Deltarune. He does have some sort of goal or desire he wants to see us accomplish. He's gonna do something. I just simply could not tell you what. Right now, in my head, Gaster and the Knight, who's December Holiday, are roommates in the bunker, and every once in a while he comes into her room like, "Are you winning, Des?" And Des responds with a volume-peaking horrible scream. She dragged Undyne home, and Undyne yells at Gaster like, "What the fuck is happening?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't really know, she just kind of does this. Can I get you some tea?" Also, is the Knight or Carol or whoever this was on the phone going to sacrifice Undyne? Homophobia. Moving on. We got some good Eggman content in these chapters.
Again, every time, just whenever anybody mentions Eggman, I just automatically think of Sonic. Okay, sorry for the pause. I was called downstairs to help with something.
If you recall, Eggman is another possible candidate for Gaster. Remember when I said going back and forth forever between two rooms is what I imagine hell to be like? Well, Chapter 3 fixed that problem in the most way possible. You have to make sure Susie throws this block on this screen, which is very possible to miss in the first place, then get caught in this room, say you're a cheater and are going nowhere, play this game, and use the block to beat this screen, then play this game, and get whatever the hell item, and then fight Ribbok, and then go to act, and then on the red X, go left until your soul leaves, and then you'll be in the Eggman realm. Actually deranged.
Yeah, going back and forth between two rooms endlessly, was hell, but hell just got worse. Let's imagine for a second that you've never watched a Let's Play and you're just playing this game blind for the first time, and you find through some random act of RNG, you discover the first two egg rooms. The third one is just such a completely different, turn out of left field. Why is it so much different than the other two?
Now, here's where it gets a little gastery. The man actually talks to you this time, calling himself the Forgotten Man. He says that everyone forgets about him eventually, even himself. Now, the common theory with Gaster is that he was erased from existence when he fell into his creation. And so everyone forgot about him. That's something that has been argued may or may not be totally accurate, but considering that Gaster is only mentioned by his followers and literally nowhere else, and Goner Kid talks about a theoretical world where everything is the same except you never existed, I think it's reasonable to say that within Undertale's world, he certainly is a forgotten man. If you say you won't forget him, he'll give you another egg. In Chapter 4, it is much easier to get the egg. You walk through the stained glass window with the egg on it a few times.
Oh! Okay, I remember somebody talking about, oh, you have to go walk through the stained glass with the egg, and I had no idea what they were talking about. Now I'm literally seeing it, where all the other ones have an upside down egg, but this one does not. Okay.
And you'll end up in art therapy. Chris tries to draw the man, I think, but to no avail, until they just end up painting a tree. You receive the egg that way. Not as involved this time, but still very, very interesting. But of course, Gaster is not our only candidate for Eggman. In the Murder Route in Undertale, the Czech dialogue describes Papyrus as forgettable. And while I know merch isn't canon, I'd be remiss not to point out what everyone else has, that on this pattern, on various Fangamer items, Papyrus is seen behind a red and purplish tree. So, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest here. Had not heard that theory yet. I mean, Papyrus being the Eggman. I mean, if that were the case, I guess that would be a good reason why we haven't heard him yet, and why, you know, Sans is seemingly the only other person that actually knows about him. And even then, as he's himself has seemingly stopped talking about him also. Jeez, this would be so weird and out of left field. Why, Toby?
Papyrus is Eggman. There, we solved Deltarune forever. Because as we all know, games are not a narrative to be experienced, but a puzzle to be solved.
Why not both?
A puzzle with no edge pieces or picture on the box to go by. And also, if you go over here and talk to Onion Stand, you! It's the goddamn Gaster follower guy. They're gonna do something, I know it. What are you gonna do? Wait, don't. What do you mean? Wait, don't. Oh my god. WD. It's all coming together.
We're through the looking glass here, people.
But regardless of any possible Gaster, I really enjoyed these 2 chapters of Deltarune.
Wait, don't. Wait, don't, Gaster. Why does that sound like a PSA slogan? Wait, don't, Gaster. Now, in that instance, what does Gaster mean? Like, because that sounds like a euphemism for something, and I don't want to try to figure it out.
I promise he is not the only thing I'm invested in. Tenna, for example, is a wonderful, beautiful, amazing man. My Tumblr followers are so lucky I'm asexual. It's just that I like Gaster. This is the only topic I can think of to make a coherent thread of ramblings about Deltarune on, so it is thus. I have possibly another idea for a video about all the different ways you can actually play Deltarune despite the events of the story not actually changing, but I don't know if that could actually be made into an organized video, so we'll see about that. I don't know. I don't even know if I sound convinced of my own theories. But
I mean, for the sake of content, you could make it a very disorganized video as well.
But I don't have all the patience or talent to pull off hours-long video essays, and these days it's either video essayist or nonsense theory YouTuber. Please, someone employ me. I guess I am still sort of on the fence about how involved Gaster is, as I don't want to lose all hope in him as I've lost all hope in tangible reality. There's still plenty of time for a shocking twist where it turns out Gaster did everything all along, but I think it's just as, if not more, likely that he will remain shrouded in darkness, watching us from the back. Maybe forever, and we will all go the rest of our lives without Toby or any of the creative team ever mentioning him by name under any circumstances.
Now, I'm wondering, how much you want to bet that's going to turn out that we've actually, like, the player in Deltarune has actually been Gaster the entire time? I don't even know how that would work, given how he's been talking to us. But still, I mean, weirder things have happened.
Will I keep reading too much into everything regardless? Of course I will. Hey though, if Gaster is in control, can he, like, give us some accessibility settings? I'm an adult with, like, responsibilities, and I do not have time to get good, as it were. This is impaired further by my severe ADHD. My motor skills are just absolute trash, and I can't be the knight or Gerson on my own to save my life. It took me like 2 years to beat Jevil. Spammed Neo is fine though, weirdly. I beat him in like 2 tries. Like, I don't know, difficulty settings or speed settings for battles, or an option to have enemies cause less damage. Editing my HP and defense in the vials is kind of a pain, and I'd love an in-game option for something. I wasn't even thinking.
Okay, so I didn't know about this. I will tell you, there is such a thing, because I remember using it on, like, one of my non-serious playthroughs of chapters 1 and 2, like, back in the day. But look up a thing called Cheat Engine. It allows you to literally just alter, you know, numbers and stuff like that when you look them up. Though the finding process can be very tedious if you're not prepared for it.
Thinking about this until I played Cult of the Lamb, and now I think everyone needs to get on this level.
That's right, we're gonna cheat.
Honestly, the real question is, where is my extra Jevil material? Spampton got a little extra scene, presumably for becoming so stupidly popular. His special treatment in comparison with my boy has not gone unnoticed. Spampton is amazing, yes. But the Spampton bias has gone too far. You give me my neglected clown boy and his expanded backstory and his extra little scene now. Deltarune is waiting? More like I am waiting for you to quit your bullshit. Okay, it's like 100 degrees out, my AC is off, and I'm like slowly roasting, so.
I mean, I've said it before. I've theorized heavily that the reason Spamton got as big as he did was because, again, we had chapters 1 and 2 for so long. Like, I guarantee you that if chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 came out at once, as one product, Spamton wouldn't be as big of a thing as he would be. Unfortunately. I mean, I love the little weirdo, but still.
Don't forget! Don't forget! Don't you dare fucking forget!
Oh, God. Okay, so I honestly, I think I can quite honestly say that I think Deltarune is beginning to get to Misty Sparkles here. And I look, and I know they've done a lot of other videos as well, they've done ones on, like, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and, like, Kirby. They've done a couple of FNAF ones, too. I mean, granted, those ones are, you know, a couple of years old, but who knows? Honestly, like, I could be interested in watching some of these other videos if, you know, you guys would want to watch them. So that might be something to do in the future. I don't know. What do you guys think? But yeah, that's definitely going to be it for now. So, yeah, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.